All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to break down the exact roadmap for totally transforming your financial life. We're going from that awful paycheck to paycheck stress straight into intentional, guilt free financial freedom. Look, if you've ever felt like your money just completely vanishes the literal second it hits your bank account, you are absolutely in the right place. We are going to hit the reset button on your financial baselines today. So here is our roadmap. We'll start by looking at the impulsive spending trap, then move into the 30-day financial detox. After that, we're tackling your debt monster, adopting the financial minimalism mindset, and finally, reviving some good old-fashioned frugality. Let's just dive right in. Starting with Section 1, the impulsive spending trap, and exactly why your money keeps pulling a disappearing act. If you feel like your cash just evaporates, one swipe here, a quick coffee there, and boom, you're totally broke by week 2, you really have to honestly ask yourself what internal triggers are driving that behavior. Because honestly, very few people are just happily spending away their life savings for no reason. Usually there's something deeper behind it. What emotional void are you actually trying to fill when you tap that buy now button? The experts over at Australian Investment Education point out that impulsive spending is pretty much the absolute most toxic financial habit you can have. And why? Because true wealth building is a highly structured process, whereas impulse buying is entirely accidental and emotional. Getting financially successful is a long-term compounding journey, and those spur-of-the-moment dopamine hits completely derail it. So the absolutely crucial first step is to figure out your unique triggers. Maybe it's that catatonic online death scroll where you suddenly end up buying a new pair of shoes just because you were bored on the couch. Or maybe your trigger is emotional stress after a really bad day at work. If that's you, try the HALT method. Catch yourself and ask, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Pause, take a breath, and redirect that energy. Whatever your trigger is, even if it's just the desire to impress a date, you've got to spot it and shut the door on it before you swipe. Okay, moving on to Section 2, the 30-day financial detox. It is time to hit the brakes. Just look at the stark contrast here. Listen, a 30-day no-spend challenge is not some sort of cruel punishment. It's a financial detox. It's about drawing a hard line in the sand to starve out the junk spending and give your money actual purpose. For one whole month, you ruthlessly cut out that right column. No takeout, no late-night Amazon binges, no but it was 20% off excuses. You strictly spend on the essentials on the left. This is the fastest way to identify your financial leaks. Now, to actually survive this detox, you've got to set clear parameters. Pick your time frame. Honestly, 30 days is the perfect reset. Define your specific rules and tape them right to your fridge. Next, tell a friend so they can hold you accountable. You also want to stock up on your pantry staples and lean heavily into free hobbies, so you're replacing empty consumption with actual creation. And finally, track your wins every single day. Every dollar you don't spend is a dollar earned. A fantastic way to maintain that momentum is to basically gamify your budget. Try forcing yourself to sleep on big purchases. By setting a hard and fast rule that any non-essential item over $100 requires a 48-hour waiting period, you build a mental fuse box for yourself. It totally takes the immediate impulsive emotion right out of the purchase, and it reframes frugality as this highly rewarding competition against yourself. Which brings us to Section 3, tackling your debt monster. Let's talk triage and control. Seeing these numbers side by side is genuinely shocking. Look at that massive cost disparity. This visual proves exactly why you have to ruthlessly prioritize that toxic 28% credit card debt or those insane 300% payday loans way before you worry about a low-interest mortgage. All debt is absolutely not created equal, and this makes it glaringly obvious where your extra cash needs to be deployed first. And you can aggressively crush those high numbers using what's called the snowball method. It's basically systematically rolling all your available cash into the highest interest debts first. You cover the mandatory minimums on everything, sure, but you take a giant laser focus to the most toxic, highest interest item on your list. Once that drops to zero, you take all that payment power and snowball it right into the next one. It accelerates your freedom like crazy. But hey, if your debt feels totally unmanageable, please remember you do not have to hide in the dark. Honest communication with your financial institution can unlock consolidation options or deferred payments to help you catch your breath. Literally, just picking up the phone and asking to consolidate your debts into one fixed-rate loan could be the thing that saves you from drowning in compound interest. All right, Section 4, the financial minimalism mindset. This right here is your long-term cure. So financial minimalism is definitely not about living like a monk.
It's actually about selectively sacrificing what you don't care about so you can spend abundantly on the 2 or 3 things you value most. Just look at spender A and spender B. To an outsider, their choices might look a little extreme. But the secret: neither person feels deprived. They're just being cheap in areas they don't care about so they can be incredibly generous in the areas that actually bring them joy.
You build this intentional life by following these 5 steps. First, calculate your absolute bare-bones survival number. What does it cost just to keep the lights on? Then, get brutally honest and pick your top 3 spending priorities. Audit your past 3 months of bank statements against those priorities, cut the dead weight like hidden subscriptions, and unapologetically direct your cash toward what matters. Doing this sets you up for an incredible automated 4-account system that totally eliminates restrictive budgeting fatigue. You split your income into fixed costs, guilt-free spending, investments, and savings before you ever even see it. This removes all that agonizing decision fatigue. Want to buy a new jacket? Just check that 25% guilt-free bucket. If the money's there, spend it without a single ounce of shame. Honestly, the traditional guilt-ridden budget is dead.
And finally, Section 5, Old-Fashioned Frugality Revived. Let's build some sturdy habits for everyday life. To keep those fixed costs impressively low, we really need to revive what our grandparents just called being normal. We live in this throwaway culture that treats a mild inconvenience like a total emergency, right? But older generations didn't outsource their joy or rely on delivery apps. By cooking from scratch, mending torn clothes, and finding free entertainment outside of subscription culture, you're trading expensive modern convenience for radical, quiet competence.
Swiping plastic or tapping digital wallets is just way too frictionless. When money is an invisible number on a screen, it is entirely too easy to overspend without even noticing. So any old-school method that slows down your spending and forces you to truly feel the financial trade-off is totally worth implementing. Try physical cash envelopes or strict tracking. Bring back that friction so you have a moment of awareness before the transaction is complete. I absolutely love this quote from Mike Dunya, and it brilliantly illustrates our entire journey today. Old-fashioned frugality isn't about being cheap, it's about being capable. Managing your money intentionally doesn't shrink your life, it makes your life sturdy. In a world built on endless consumption, choosing to be competent instead of just paying a premium for convenience is quietly radical, and it grants you genuine peace of mind. So, now that you've got the complete toolkit to detox your bad habits, crush your debt, and automate your savings, I want to leave you with one final big question. What beautiful experiences are you going to fund with your newfound financial freedom? Take a moment today to clearly visualize exactly what your rich life looks like. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Now go out there and build that sturdy, intentional life.